In a game like Call of Duty, having one or two incorrect settings can completely ruin your aim and your comfortability. If you play ranked, multiplayer, or Warzone, and you're stuck in something like silver or gold, changing just a few of the settings that I'm showing you today may be the only thing that you need to do to break out and finally rank up again. These settings I'm showing you include the best graphics settings for a smooth experience with high frames and good quality, the best controller settings for strong aim assist, and my field of view settings. I'll also let you know which settings are a personal preference and which are important that they're exactly the way I have them. I'll also make sure all of your questions are answered down in the comments as well, so ask anything I may have forgotten to mention. I'm Redix, welcome to the channel. Thank you guys for all the recent support. If you click down below, there is a playlist that will give you all of my tips videos. These tips work for multiplayer and Warzone, so if you want to become a better player at COD, I suggest you click on that. That being said, let's take a look at my settings. Alright, starting it out for all my controller users, let's run through my settings real quick because I know I got a lot of questions. Even though I've shown them before, there's a few that I didn't, so let's dive in. Aiming input device, of course, controller. Feel free to edit your button layout if you want. I've never done this, but you know, it's there. Bumper ping off. That's just a really annoying setting and it doesn't help anything. Now for stick layout preset, I run default because I have paddles on my controller, meaning I can drop shot using the back paddle. Now if you don't have paddles and you still want to drop shot, then running tactical is a good idea. Or if you don't have paddles and you want to jump shot, running bumper jumper is a good idea. There we go. Okay, button layout, they kind of hit it. So you can run default like I said. You can also run bumper jumper if you want to jump with one of your L1 or R1 or your left bumper, right bumper. I wouldn't flip any of these. I don't think it's a great idea. Again, just adding additional confusion. Bumper ping off, controller vibration, make sure that's turned off. That will affect your aim. Even if you think it won't, it will eventually. At some point, at least one gunfight, your controller will be just shaking erratically and you'll just be in a horrible situation. Okay, a lot of people want to know sensitivity. What's the best sensitivity to use? Like I said, I have a video. Click the screen right now on the top right if you want to take a look at it. How to find your sensitivity. It's pretty easy and you need to find your own. There is not a single sensitivity that is the best sensitivity, but I will say most professional players play between 4 and 8 sensitivity. Once you get past 8, it gets a little bit more difficult to control, and the rumor is you get a little bit less aim assist. Here are my sensitivity multipliers. I have those all at 1. Vertical aim access, again, all on standard. Definitely want to keep those the way they are. Aim down sight behavior, I have on hold. You definitely want this on hold. If you have it on toggle, I can't even imagine why you would want that. Change, zoom, shared input, definitely sprint, tac sprint, focus if you're used to the traditional Call of Duty style. Automatic sprint, I run automatic tactical sprint. A lot of people were curious about that as well. As far as my snaking video goes, again, click the link at the top right of the video if you want to take a look at how to snake. It's an incredibly effective technique in Modern Warfare 2 and every Call of Duty that every great player has been utilizing for years now. Make sure you have automatic tactical sprint on for that. Also to preserve your controller and your thumbs. Equipment behavior on hold. Weapon mount, ADS melee, this one really doesn't matter. It's up to you. I don't really mount ever. If you do, then whatever's most comfortable. I have prioritize interact on, meaning that if I tap, I will open a door or something like that, or pick up ammo, but if I hold, I'll reload. So prioritize interact is just what I'm used to from Warzone 1. I know a lot of people went to prioritize reload, but that's personal preference as well. And then armor plate behavior, again, a lot of people have that on apply all. I like apply one, and I'll explain why, so that maybe if you're not sure which one to run, apply one I use because if I'm in a fight, I'll hold triangle or I'll hold Y while I'm running to plate up. And if someone's close to me, I might need to stop plating really quickly and get into a fight. I need to get my gun up as quick as possible to win that gunfight. Now, if I have apply all on, I'm gonna have to tap Y again, which it's just gonna take longer. To me, I don't mind holding Y the whole time I'm plating, but some people just want to press it one time and apply all. So that's up to you as well. Moving on to the advanced side of things, make sure aim assist is on. If your aim is horrible and aim assist is off, that's probably why. Aim assist type, I have on Black Ops still. A lot of people have been coming to me saying, well, Black Ops got nerfed. I thought Black Ops got nerfed. Default's better now. Everyone says default's better now. After testing, the difference is negligible. It's really whatever you try and feel most comfortable on. I personally think Black Ops is just better for my playstyle because I do a lot of strafing and jumping around corners. If you're the type of person that sits still and just pre-aims, you might want to run default. That's up to you. I have a full video showing my tests with all of the different aim assist types here very, very soon. So make sure you turn on your post notifications if you want to see that. ADS aim assist on, of course. Third person, who cares? I guess it's on assist. Aim response curve type has to be dynamic. This is one of the most important settings in the game. ADS sensitivity multiplier 0.90. This needs to be on instant as well. Custom sense per zoom, I have this on, and I personally am a big fan of having it on. Usually I have these a little bit different, but lately my aim just hasn't been as good as I like it to be, so I just kind of move it around, and that's kind of what you guys need to do as well. If you're struggling to aim straight, just try switching up some of these settings depending on the gun you're struggling with. My sniper was not great because I hadn't sniped in Warzone 2, because I don't see why anyone was. Now the sniping is good again. I had to take this down to 0.8 when I had them all at 0.9. So again, you can definitely feel free to mess around with those. My input dead zone, these are what I have. I have a relatively new controller. Again, the video that I linked will have not just finding your sensitivity, but also finding your dead zone, all in the same video. So you can click on that if you don't know what your dead zone should be. The only dead zone I can tell you that you should have is left trigger, right trigger, both at 0, but the rest of these depend on your controller. So that's another thing. You're gonna have to take a look at the other video if you don't know how to figure those things out. Controller orientation, of course, on up, unless you have some sort of, disability or some sort of preference. Then you'd run that as something else. Gyro aiming, this has to be off. This will interfere with your aim unless you want it to, and then you know how to use it and things like that, but there's absolutely no reason to use this. I had a lot of people also wondering, where is gyro behavior? I don't see it on my settings. It's nowhere to be found. PS4, PS5, Xbox, you guys don't have this setting, so you don't even have to worry about it. It's already off. PC players though, if you use controller, turn off gyro behavior. You can also turn off all of these just to be safe. I do, but you probably don't need to. But again, all of these off, anything under gyro. Now down to movement behaviors. Auto move forward off. I mean, you could put on double tap. That way, if you need to go AFK for a second, but you need to keep running forward, you could double tap it. Your player will keep running. I personally keep it off because I don't want any kind of mistake where maybe I accidentally double tap during a fight, and then I try to stop and my player is still running. Tactical sprint behavior, double tap. Ground and mantle, make sure this is off. Also make sure automatic ground mantle is off and automatic airborne mantle is set to partial. The reason for this is because in a gunfight, if you have the ground mantle options on and you try to jump shot, as you can see in the picture right there, that guy is climbing something. So if you're trying to jump shot in the middle of a gunfight, you're gonna start climbing something, stop aiming, you're gonna get fried. So automatic airborne mantle, basically what it means is if you're gonna fall, it will mantle for you, but if you're gonna be okay and you miss your jump, or maybe you don't want to mantle, it's not gonna force you to do so. So these are the best settings in my opinion for the mantle options. Now inverse slide and dive behavior, I cannot stress enough, inverted is the way to go in this game. If now look, they have buffed sliding enough to where it is good again. However, it's still not anywhere near as good as diving. Diving can get you out of some really tough situations, so make sure you have that set to inverted. What that does, if you don't know, is you will tap your crouch button to dive and you will hold it to slide, just making it a little bit easier for you to dive out of a tough situation. Plunging underwater, I have it on movement. I think that's the best way to go there. Parachute auto deploy, you want that off because you want to be able to control when that parachute comes out. Just make sure you actually pull it. Sprinting door bash on because why wouldn't it be? Ledge hang mantle behavior, put this on mantle only. Movement base gets kind of annoying. I just now switched it to mantle and it's definitely the way to go. ADS stick swap, definitely off unless you're already used to that. That's not something you need to switch to unless you've been playing for like 10 years of COD and your aim is still horrible. Maybe try something new. Backpack control doesn't matter anymore now that backpacks are out of Warzone, thank the Lord. Weapon mount stuff, I mean, I don't really mount, so do whatever you want with those. Delete depleted ammo weapon switch, I actually usually run that off because a lot of times, if my gun runs out of ammo, I still want to be able to sprint out of a situation. And in this game, sometimes when you're switching weapons and things like that, you just get caught in bad spots. Quick C4 detonation, also want that to be on. Vehicle camera recenter, make sure this is off. This is the most annoying thing, and if you didn't know this was a setting, once you turn this off, if you're someone who uses cars or helicopters and things like that, you are going to love this setting. Free look is also going to need to be on. If you don't have that on, your game is going to be completely changed by these two simple settings. Who cares about these? These are whatever you want to put them as. These are what I run. Okay, from here, I just did so much testing, just looking at the different FPS I was getting, changing every one of these options, doing different combinations of them. So these are the best ones that I found. My personal graphics card is a 3060 Ti, as you can see. So if you have a worse graphics card or a better graphics card, you could see different results. Okay, so display resolution. If you're on a regular, regular size monitor, this is what you want to run. But if you're on a 4K monitor, it would be obviously something different. I don't remember exactly what it is, like 2140 by 1440, something like that. You guys would get it though. You'd already know that. All right, dynamic resolution. I have this off. Aspect ratio, automatic. This one really doesn't matter. You do whatever you want there. Automatic or 16:9 or whatever you need. VSync off. Custom frame rate limit, I have it set to custom. And the main one really here is this one right here, out of focus. So when your game is closed, when it's tabbed in the background, it's not going to be putting pressure on your computer and things like that, because it's going to be capped out to 30 frames instead of trying to get 250 or 120. Okay, display gamma. That's perfect right there the way it is. 2.2 sRGB. Brightness, I personally run my brightness at 50, although depending on my monitor, I will go to 55. If you have trouble seeing, try 55, but I got a new monitor and I think 50 has been pretty good. Okay, moving on to quality. I know a lot of people were curious about my FOV as well. I will show you that and explain that after this. But here's quality, render resolution, make sure that's to 100. Okay, so this is the main thing I tested. Different strengths and different upscaling options. And the best one I came out with was the one that most people said early in Modern Warfare 2, though recently a lot of people have tried all these different ones. Fidelity FX Cast actually was by far the best option. Like, it really wasn't even close. The other ones had much less frames on average, and I have it at 70 strength. I tried 100. The game didn't look much different from 70, but the frames were like 5 to 10 less in most cases, so that's why I have it at 70. SMAA T2X, I just changed this from Filmic. This one just seems to, again, provide better frames for me. Anti-aliasing quality also on normal. I believe I had that on low. Just a lot of different changes here that you may need to swap if you don't already have them. Video memory scale, make sure that's to 90, although you can also take that down to 80 or 70 and just kind of test that one out a little bit, because your computer probably will react differently to this specific setting. So try between 70, 80, or 90 and see whichever one gives you the most consistent high frames. Texture resolution, very low. And then the next three are all low, then short, and then low, and then very low. I leave bullet impacts on. From what I hear, it has no effect on frame rate or stability or anything like that, so I like to leave them on. However, persistent damage layers is off, shader quality low, tessellation on near, and on-demand texture streaming, I actually have that set to off. I recently seen one of the PC optimization Twitter people say that this should be on. However, after my personal testing, and again, your computer may react differently, but after my testing, I have noticed that this is definitely the best way to go. You want to keep it off. Streaming quality low, volumetric quality also low, off default. And then moving down to shadow and lighting, we want to go very low, off, medium, ultra, low, off, and then off, low, off. And then at the bottom here, you go on plus boost with the rest being off. Make sure film grain is down to 0. If you have this turned up, you're gonna just notice once you take it down to 0, you're gonna be like, wait a minute, why is the screen so clear? That being said, we'll move on to the last side. So my FOV right now is set to 112. Now, I know what you're thinking. That is a weird decision. That is a weird number to go with. So this is actually what I run. Everyone who asked, this was my answer. 115 is my go-to. In multiplayer, that's what I run. However, since Warzone Ranked has released, I have been kind of messing with this because my frames in Warzone are not very good. My game kind of chops. Multiplayer, my game's super smooth, so I can get away with whatever. So 112 is kind of where I put it for that. So the lower you go, there's a good chance your frames will get better. At least the choppiness, if your game is being choppy, that will go away. So it's definitely a good idea to mess with your FOV. Find something that's comfortable but also provides you a good balance with better frames and good gameplay. ADS field of view needs to be unaffected. If you have this on independent, you will hate it, trust me. Weapon field of view, set this to wide. Wide is because it makes the weapon look smaller. As you can see, it says it right on the screen. Now, if you go narrow, the weapon will look bigger, and that means there's a better chance that your gun will be covering up an enemy player. Vehicle field of view, you want to have that on wide. You want to make sure these are on least. You don't want as much camera movement. Obviously, that'll mess with your aim. All sorts of things to look at there. So third person ADS transition, who cares about that? And then default spectator camera, game perspective, or helmet camera. That's a personal preference as well. I prefer game perspective because when I'm spectating someone in search and it's on their helmet cam, I have no clue what's going on. I was actually just about done editing and I got a comment on one of my previous videos asking for audio settings, so I figured I'd just throw them in this one as well. They're very simple. Okay, so audio mix I have on PC. I used to run home theater, I believe it was, but to me, PC just feels like it sounds better. I hear better from different directions, I guess. I run master volume at 70. I have my mix amp turned up on my Astros and my PC audio turned all the way up, but master volume on the game itself is 70 because I feel like it kind of distorts the audio when you have it maxed out in game. Also, copy these. Voice chat on, but set it to party only. That actually will save you some frames, believe it or not. A test was done. Now, not gonna work for everyone, but you know, it worked for me. I got about 3 to 5 extra frames or so the second I changed this to party only instead of all lobby, but if you prefer to have it on all lobby, keep it on. Last words voice chat, well, you know, that's a preference as well. Microphone level, I have it turned all the way up. Make sure you do some testing. Yours might need to be turned down. Subtitles, I want that off. I personally usually have subtitles off because, you know, I mean, just imagine this on your screen in the middle of an intense situation. So these two settings are what I run here, but those are my audio settings. If you guys need a tutorial on sound EQ and things like that for PC users, unfortunately it's a part of the game, so I can show you guys how that works. So with that being said, thank you to everyone on the screen for commenting on my last couple videos, the word share, the word OBJ, things like that. Moving forward, the shoutouts at the end of the video will just be for channel members, so if you do want a shout out in every video, just go down below, hit the join button. I think it's like $4.99 or something a month. If you don't want to, that's fine too, but just a way to support the channel. Also, clicking the like button, commenting any questions you may have, or sharing the video with friends also is very, very helpful. My second channel link is in the description. It's called Reddick's Retreat. It's a place to go if you want to see gameplay out of me and pretty much anything else that might include a little bit more personality than just my tips and tricks videos. So I'd appreciate it if anyone would tune into that. That would be awesome. Thank you for watching. Hopefully these tips assist you, and if they do, let me know down below, or if you have any questions, like I said, ask away. I check every single morning as soon as I wake up and every night before bed, and I respond to every comment I see. I've been Reddix, and I'll see you guys soon.